We're back, and we're going to talk about the delay of game penalty that's been troubling a lot of teams, of course. That means clearing the puck over the glass without actually hitting the glass. Now, it's one thing when you intentionally do this. It's another thing when you're just battling for a puck and it just so happens to flip over. And that's happened actually a few times. I think they've said but 20-plus delay of game penalties have been called because of pucks being cleared over. Do you think this rule should be at least modified, or we should get rid of it altogether?
I actually don't mind how it is now. That's why they put it in there, because people are just flipping it over just to kill time and get a line change.
But should there at least be like some kind of hybrid situation, because at least being the referee's discretion? Because there have been times when you're just battling, you might take a hack at a puck, and it just so happens to flip over.
But referee's
do you still
discretion.
give a penalty for that?
But then you'll have the argument, what is, battling for the puck and what is, just flipping it over the glass.
And it comes to the referee's discretion. You hate that because referee's discretion
Well, that's what
can be
penalties
taken.
are.
But
That's what penalties are.
But in that call, it's different. A penalty is a penalty. But in that call, referee's discretion, did he mean to flip it over the glass or was it accidental? Well, how do you know that as a referee? And when a player is getting pressured and he has to clear the zone. The only bad thing I don't like about it is when the referee determines the outcome of that game. And you've seen it a few times in the playoffs this year, where all of a sudden a team is down by 2 men, and all of a sudden they score a quick 5-on-3.
That's what happened to LA.
Exactly.
Or San Jose. But I'm going to say this, though. Because of that result, you said it's being determined, then I think it should be under discretion. Now, if it's one of those things where he's trying to clear it and it goes over, so be it. But there have been times when they'll just battle the puck or battle for the puck. Yeah. It just, for some fluky reason, it bounces off, doesn't hit any other player, and goes out of play. Should that still be a delay of game penalty?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I disagree with you guys, but that's how this shows up. Hey, some disagreement between, you'd say, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment and Brian Colangelo in terms of the way they did this. Now, he's been part of the team during his tenure, only one Atlantic Division title, have missed the playoffs the last 5 years in a row. Cause for concern for the Raptors. They decided to get rid of him. On the basketball front, they still gave him a nice cushy job within Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. But do you feel that Colangelo may have gotten a bad deal and maybe given one more year with Tim Leiweke?
Why?
Helm?
Yeah. Why a bad deal? He hasn't made the playoffs for 5 years. You can't keep on giving a guy a chance. And it's going to be year number 6 and he won't make the playoffs. Now is it time to make a move? Oh, no. Results determines his job. Results weren't there. His job is done.
Yeah, exactly what Bucky's saying. He should have been gone 5 years ago. What has he done? He's drafted terrible. He's done absolutely nothing at the trade deadline besides bringing in Gay, which was a great transaction, but what else has he done?
Some guys have been hitting this, I agree.
But he hasn't built up this organization that you have free agents out there going, oh, I want to play for Toronto. Who wants to go to Toronto in the NBA? Nobody.
It'll be interesting who they'll find to replace him to actually take him to the next step. But at least you got to think of that. Rudy Gay trade may have bought him another year or half a season.
Yeah, it's 6 years, 5 years too late.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jack Adams. Jack Adams Award, the finalists for the top NHL coach are Paul McLean, Bruce Boudreau, and Joe Quenneville. Do you guys agree with those three as the finalists, or do you feel there's a person left out that should be in the mix?
Could even throw in Randy Carlyle's name into the mix, but you can't go wrong
really?
with these three. Oh, why not? Look what he did at the Leafs. It's been 9 years. You might as well give him some credit.
Tortorella too. I love to see him win the award. Just see the speech he'll come up with.
Only a few words, but what about Adam Oates? Is another guy?
Yeah, to a certain extent. But I don't know if it was Adam that get him in the playoffs, or was it number 8 that?
Well, he got number 8 going. He tried a few things and tried to get this.
Yeah.
He knew what his skill set was. He tried to help him out earlier by putting him on his off wing from his shot. Didn't work out well. Put him back. Things started working out well, and he's responding to his coach and is actually back checking. That's something you really see from Russians too much, right? I think that's got to be something to consider.
Yeah, not bad. But I think when you break it down to the 3 candidates are there right now, they're pretty solid.
Who of those 3 guys do you think will win it?
Probably Joe Quenneville.
Quenneville?
What he did at the beginning of the season with the Hawks, and it's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah. I'd probably say the Hawks, Quenneville, because you have so much talent in that team that it can go either way on you. It can be just lights out, or you can have a lot of different egos that you're trying to control. Sometimes the toughest job to coach is not the guys that that you can get the best out of because they have limited skill. It's the guys that have that great skill and have a lot of egos that you have to mold together and all go in the same direction.
World Hockey Championships, I don't think anybody saw this as a final. Switzerland taking on Sweden. Sweden eventually the winners. A little bit of help from the Sedin twins, particularly Henrik, who had 7 or 8 points around coming into the final 3 games, which was quite impressive. But getting to Switzerland's performance, what can you say about them? A little bit of a shock, or what shocked you about their play? Was it their goaltending? Was it their scoring? The fact that their overall team effort? Who knows?
Marty Gerber,
Yeah.
he was
There you
huge.
go.
No, that whole team's performance was
Yeah.
actually unbelievable. What they did in those 10 games, only losing once, unfortunately, was the gold medal game. But hats off to Switzerland; they had a great performance.
But really, the Swiss and Sweden in the World Hockey Championship final, come on. I'm almost at to the point right now that Don Cherry said it on the weekend, let's just throw amateurs at the World Hockey Championship. It's a waste of time. Nobody's really into it. Even in Sweden, if Sweden wasn't playing in those games, they have a handful of people watching those games. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody really cares about it. Let's go back to the amateurs and let the pros play at the Olympics.
Hey, what about Team Canada? I guess maybe onto that point to follow up really quickly. Do you think Canada is at least a little bit concerned the way they've played, or you don't really get those star players you would for an Olympics or a World Cup, right?
Yeah, you can't look too much into
No.
this tournament because you have Dubnyk and Mike Smith for the
Yeah.
goalies here. They're not even going to be looked at for the Olympic
Yeah.
team. Maybe Mike Smith, maybe, but other than that, their defense, Drew Doughty's out. Weber didn't play in it. You have so much talent.
Canada playing the World Hockey Championship right now is like a senior hockey team loading up the bus, going to a tournament, picking up players along the way. And that's all it was. We have 6 guys in the bus right now. Hopefully by the time we get to the rink, we'll have 20.
You know what? We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not a precursor to 2014. They lose out in the quarterfinals. When we come back, we're going to have over-under next. Can Bucky retain his title? Stay tuned.